the people connected with the killing of Ongiri that were hired by my brother were not in any way connected, because the night Ongiri died, 2 of them were in custody because of theft.
A member of parliament is found murdered in a maize plantation, and police suspect Emania defeated in a parliamentary election as the person behind it. The game legislator was killed by unknown assailants at his home in Siaya 28 years ago. Did Ongiri Owiti pay 8 men to kill Ongiri Owiti? Tonight on Case Files, Ongiri's killers. A graveyard in the heart of Siaya County captures nothing of a high-profile burial that took place here on the 8th of July 1985. The graveyard used to be the homestead of a man, a father, and a politician who had captured the imagination of many in Luo Nyanza and beyond. Horace Owiti's remains were buried here after a brutal attack at his home in Siaya town. Among those who lined up to eulogize the then-game member of parliament was the Labour Minister, Dr. Robert Ouko. Hemanu will meet an equally cruel death 7 years later in the hands of unknown killers. What was once a busy politician's homestead is now mere rubble. This is where the then-game member of parliament put up over the weekends when he was away from his home in Nairobi. The Siaya town home was near a business enterprise the MP was running. It all started on the 26th of May, 1985.
Na siku ile ya kuua Ongiri kufika kitu kama saa 5:30 usiku, tunasikia kitu kama kelele kidogo, tunarudi nyuma, kelele kidogo, tunarudi nyuma. Bas kufika saa 7 tunasikia kelele.
The disturbance in the dead of the night was coming from this house, a modest structure by all standards, but one that befitted a sitting member of parliament. The head cook at Ongiri's bakery, who lived a few blocks away, rushed into the house, but did not find the youthful MP.
Kufika hapo, napata kama taya iko hapo. Haiwezi kufika hapo. Taya ipo, mnaangalia pande hii na ingine naangalia huko. Baada ya kukaa kidogo, tunapata umoja ufanya kazi yake pia. Tunakutana yeye, anasema anatoka polisi. Ongiri umeuawa. Yeye anasema hivyo. Na watu iko kali huko, siwezi kufika. Basi sisi tunakaa tu na usiviri mpaka polisi umekuja. Polisi kuja, nakuja kama usiku bado kucha nzuri.
A blood-stained coat outside the house and the blood on the footpath in the compound ended up in the maize plantation. Owiti's naked body was discovered.
Napata kama ilikuwa naua, anaweka kwa miti kama hii. Ilikuwa natoka, alafu napasua yeye, alafu naweka hapo. Kiti iko miti ingine naitwa siala umekata huku kwake. Nao naweka yeye tu kwa hiyo miti. Kama hapa umepasua. Umepasua hapa. Sasa wanachukua yetu mara moja. Polisi anachukua tu yeye mara moja. Kabla watu wengi bado hawajafika. Tunachukua Ongiri.
It wasn't until the following day that the magnitude of the crime became clear to Owiti's family.
over the radio in the morning, KBC, saying that former MP of Game, Ongiri Owiti, was murdered in his bakery factory in Siaya.
Pressed by the government of the day to bring to book the perpetrators of what appeared as a political murder, police investigators moved fast. The following day, several people were arrested. A year-old Michael Uma Odongo, Joseph Obara Rajuol, Morris Okothondewe, Peter Ndumia Gathuma, and the youngest suspect linked to the murder, 20-year-old Thomas Oluoch.
I'd called him. Usually I'd expect him on Wednesday to be in Kisumu, but he wasn't there. So I left till Friday, and Friday I called again, then I was told that he had been arrested.
His father, former Culture and Social Services Assistant Minister, had been defeated in the 1983 general elections. Agri Otieno Ambala had been picked up while driving to his home in the city. Before the trial of the 8 suspects linked to the murder of the slain member of parliament, Otieno Ambala died under mysterious circumstances. Prison authorities told the stunned public that Ambala had suffered a heart attack under their custody.
My father was arrested, and on the second day, my family members were trying to see him, but the police refused to let them see him. Now, after his death is when we discover that he had actually collapsed in the police cells here in Nairobi. Professor Jambo was called, and he resuscitated him and gave him medication. Now, to pour salt onto the wound, they take him to Kisumu and put him in solitary confinement. In a cell in Kisumu, in solitary confinement. This is a sick man. You've already seen that he's a sick man. Prison warders say that, oh, he started kicking the cell and knocking the door, that he's dying. Surely a man having a heart attack can kick the cell and knock the door that he's dying.
The trial of the 8 accused persons linked to the murder of Game Member of Parliament kicked off before Kisumu court. The prosecution included Otieno Ambala's name on the charge sheet in a trial that will last a straight 1 year. There were 2 people in the house of the Game Member of Parliament when his attackers came knocking, Owiti Ongiri and a lady friend who might have seen or heard the attackers. The prosecution failed to call her to testify before the trial court in Kisumu. Why? Case files. Takes a short break. Michael Uma Odongo, Jekonia Wangulu, and Charles Onyango were later to stand trial for the murder of the 43-year-old member of parliament, described as a progressive debater in parliament, as the rest was set free. The prosecution called to the witness stand a police officer who arrested 2 of the accused persons, Jekonia Wangulu Okumu and Michael Uma Odongo. The retired police officer told the court that on the morning of the 27th of July 1985, he noticed Jekonia Wangulu and Michael Uma trying to board a matatu with a bundle of clothes wrapped in bed sheets. The retired police officer told the court that on inquiring, Michael Uma Odongo promised to go and pick up a trading license. He left behind Jekonia Wangulu. He never returned. The police officer told the trial judge the next time he saw Michael Uma Odongo was at the local police station. On his part, Jekonia Wangulu told the trial judge that after his arrest, he was forced to strip naked, tortured, and later charged in court for the murder of the slain member of parliament. It will later emerge that the accused had, on the night Owiti Ongiri died, broken into an unoccupied house and stole household goods. A witness who appeared before Justice Abdallah told the trial judge she discovered that household items, among them a mosquito net, curtains, blankets, and pillows, were missing from her house. The prosecution at the time, led by Principal Counsel Momanyi Bongonga, told the trial judge the murder of Owiti Ongiri was political. The prosecution claimed that Jekonia Wangulu had confessed to the police that it was Otieno Ambala who paid them 2 million shillings to kill Ongiri.
At that time, there was some development that he was doing in Siaya. He had sold some flats along Agwis Kodek Road, and he was using this money to do a lot of development. And that is the money that somebody identifies, oh, he has withdrawn 2 million shillings from his account. All right, fine. I mean, it's not a crime to withdraw money from your account.
For a man who at one point was the best man to a man who was later to be accused of killing, Otieno Ambala's name was dragged through the trial that would later last a straight 1 year. His son says he knew Ongiri.
I was a little bit surprised because I'd known them to have been, even though they now were political rivals, they had been very close friends. In 1974, 75, Horace Ongiri Owiti was my father's best man during his wedding to his second wife. In 1979, Horace Ongiri Owiti was my father's chief campaign manager.
The prosecution appeared to have heavily relied on the items they claimed the suspect were found in possession of. The claim that Otieno Ambala was the mastermind of the murder died down as the trial continued. Owiti Ongiri's widow, who traveled to Kisumu the morning Ongiri died, told the judge that she was able to identify a pair of sheets and a blanket that she had ferried to their home in Siaya, where the husband was killed. And as Sister Owiti told the court, the items had been sent to her by her friends from the United States. But it was the evidence of the lab technician that raised eyebrows in the court. The technician had claimed that the blood stain found on Jekonia Okumu's right sleeve of the shirt matched the blood of the slain member of parliament. The evidence contradicted that of the accused person, Jekonia Wangulu. A soil expert's findings were also dismissed by the appeal court, but admitted by the trial judge. The expert the court ruled had no capacity to match the soil sample found on Jekonia Wangulu's trousers and that of the maize plantation where Owiti Ongiri's body was discovered. On the 26th of June 1986, the trial judge, Fida Hussein Abdallah, ruled that Jekonia Wangulu, Michael Uma and Charles Onyango were guilty as charged. The three were sentenced to death. The conviction and sentencing largely based on the property that was allegedly found in the hands of the accused. 28 years later, the son of Otieno Ambala, at the time 20 years old, says the trial of his father's co-accused was a staged affair. The three had nothing to do with the death of Owiti Ongiri.
Every single one of those accused people said they had never met Ambala. Nobody there had actually physically met Ambala, of those accused people.
The people connected with the killing of Ongiri that were hired by my brother were not in any way connected with the killing of Ongiri, because the night Ongiri died, 2 of them were in custody because of theft. They were not out here. They were taken out after Ongiri's death. Then they arrested. That is the fact, and that's what they told us.
Otieno Ambala's brother claims those arrested and later charged were victims of a well-crafted cover-up. The judge did not establish the exact motive behind the killing of the 43-year-old legislator, let alone conclusively place the accused persons at the scene of the murder. Those who knew Ongiri say he was a generous man.
What ya area hii yote tuseme Hono sub-location plus North Alego location. Nilikuwa na sira sana kwa hiyo kuwa Owiti. Sauri Owiti ilikuwa unapenda mtu yeyote.
Ongiri's younger brother told Case Files his brother's political star was rising fast in the Luo Nyanza politics.
He was a very popular. He was very popular because he was friendly to former President Arap Moi. You know, that thing happened immediately when Moi toured this area and he took him around. He's the one who was going around with him. So we don't know. Maybe that one caused his death. I can't say. but he was very close to the former president, Daniel Arap Moi.
Case files tracked down a retired prison officer who worked on Ongiri's campaign team and was also present when Otieno Ambala was pronounced dead at Kodiaga Remand Prison. Some quarters suggest that Ongiri was poised to become the country's vice president, but that dimension of national politics was never explored in the case. The family of Otieno Ambala, linked to the killing of the youthful member of parliament, on the other hand, insist those who killed a person they considered a family friend more than a political rival exploited politics to have their own behind bars.
Immediately one of the politicians heard that Ongiri was dead. He called the higher authorities to say, what are you still doing with Ambala? That means he wanted Ambala to be arrested.
Up to today, I have not seen a shred of evidence. I have looked at this thing thoroughly. I have not seen a shred of evidence to prove that my father had anything to do with Ongiri's death. What treason did he have to do? What was he going to gain? Ambala was rich as he was, with or without parliament. So what did he have to gain? In fact, at that time, in my personal speaking with him, he used to tell me, hey, this parliament, this politics is really taking a lot of my money. So to him, he was not gaining that much from that politics.
The family says the evidence of Felicia Sola Kelo will have shed some light on the identity of the attackers. Felicia, clerk at the local provincial administrator's office, was in the house when Owiti Ongiri was attacked. Felicia was a close friend of the Ongiris and had occasionally spent the night at the MP's home. Felicia was not called to testify during the one-year trial. Owiti and Ambala were able individuals. One was holding a political office, the other had just stepped down after defeat. Nearly 3 decades later, the family of Owiti Ongiri is still searching for answers. Just who wanted Ongiri dead and why.
He was a very humble guy. Yeah, approachable. Yeah. He was not a very kindly person.
Ongiri's death was not without the drama that follows political matters. The brother says, apart from Otieno Ambala, who ironically died on the same day his brother was being buried, some other people also died.
The person who did the postmortem also died. The driver also died. So around 5 people died. No, more than 5 people died in that case. So we don't know actually what was happening. Yeah, up to now.
Ambala, first and foremost, was a businessman. His achievements in business at his young age, he had very few peers in this country, especially from Luoland. There was nobody who came anywhere near what he had achieved. And his first love was business. Politics was just an extra on top of what you call it. He was financially very solid. So really, he did not, it wasn't that it was a matter of life and death that he gets anything, you know?
Otieno Ambala went to his grave with the secrets of what appeared as a well-crafted murder. Jekonia Wangulu, Michael Uma Odongo and Charles Onyango's defense could not have them exonerated from the murder of the vibrant and vocal politician. Was it a normal crime or was it a political assassination complete with scapegoats?
He had so many friends. And why he was killed, up to now, we as a family, we have not known the truth. Even the government has not told us what happened to the late Ongiri Owiti and who are the people who killed him up to today.
When contacted, Ongiri's widow told Case Files the family has moved on, but the memory of the man they called father and husband remains fresh. For Otieno Ambala's son, the family was unfairly accused. The father, they insist, died too soon.
What kind of a father was my dad? Well, my dad loved his kids. But Ambala loved his kids so much, and he would never have wanted any of these kids to suffer. So if you ask me what sort of father he was, it's a man who loved his family. Loved his family like nothing else.
For now, mystery surrounds the death of Otieno Ambala and the murder of a man he was accused of killing remains just that, a mystery. But families strongly believe politics had something to do with the brutal attack on Owiti Ongiri and the sudden passing away of Otieno Ambala. Ongiri's killers is now a case officially filed. Benson Sarigo for Case Files.